Admiral James Walker stood at the main window of Earth Defense Station Alpha, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he watched the holographic display of the solar system. Red dots appeared at the edge of Pluto's orbit, dozens, then hundreds, then thousands of them. Each dot represented a ship larger than anything humanity had ever built, or so the Empire thought. The command center around him buzzed with controlled activity. Nobody panicked. Nobody ran. 20 years of preparation had led to this moment, and every person in that room knew exactly what to do. "Sir," Lieutenant Ross called from his station, "the lead ship is broadcasting on all frequencies. They're not even trying to encrypt it." Walker allowed himself a small smile. The Empire's arrogance would be their undoing. "Put it through," he ordered, turning to face the central display. The alien that appeared on screen looked almost human, except for the metallic sheen of its skin and the complete lack of hair. It wore an elaborate uniform, covered in what Walker assumed were military decorations. "People of Earth," the alien spoke in perfect English, "I am Commander Rex of the Galactic Empire's 7th Expansion Fleet. Your world has been chosen to join our glorious empire. Resistance is," he paused for effect, ill-advised. Walker took 3 measured steps forward. The Empire had no idea that Earth had been studying their language, their technology, and their tactics for over 50 years. The first signals had been detected in 1995, but instead of broadcasting their discovery to the world, a secret council had chosen a different path. "Commander Rex," Walker replied, his voice steady and calm, "Earth acknowledges your message." The alien's metallic features shifted into what might have been a smile. "Excellent. Your species shows wisdom. Prepare to receive our integration teams. They will begin the process of uplifting your civilization to acceptable imperial standards." Behind Walker, dozens of screens showed the Empire's ships moving into predetermined positions. They were following the exact pattern that Earth's analysts had predicted. The Empire had used this same formation to conquer 300 other worlds. "Before we proceed," Walker said, "I am required to inform you that we have several questions about this integration process." Commander Rex's expression showed a flash of annoyance. "Your questions will be answered in due time. For now, you need only—" "Sir," Lieutenant Ross interrupted, his voice tight with controlled excitement. "They're deploying their scanning arrays, just as predicted." Walker nodded slightly. The Empire always followed the same steps. Position ships, scan for military capabilities, then begin the show of force. They had no idea that their scans were being fed exactly what Earth wanted them to see. "Commander," Walker continued, "you should know that we've been expecting you." Rex's face showed the first hint of confusion. "Expecting? Your species has barely achieved spaceflight. Your technology is primitive. Your weapons would not scratch our weakest shields." "That's what we wanted you to think," Walker replied. He pressed a button on his command console, sending the Empire a small data packet. "These are images of your fleet taking position around New Colony 7 last year. We have similar recordings of your conquests stretching back 50 years. The alien commander's metallic skin seemed to pale slightly. "Impossible. You have no deep space capabilities." Walker allowed himself another small smile. "We have more than that, Commander. We have been watching, learning, and preparing. Earth is not some primitive world for you to conquer. We are not helpless, and we are not afraid." The command center fell silent as Walker stepped closer to the screen. "You have 12 hours to recall your fleet and exit our solar system. After that, we will consider your presence an act of war." Commander Rex's confusion turned to anger. "You dare threaten the Empire? We have conquered galaxies. We have destroyed civilizations far more advanced than yours. You are nothing but—" Walker cut the transmission with a wave of his hand. "Send the data packet to all their ships," he ordered. "Let them see exactly what we know about them." As the command center sprang back into action, Walker returned to the window. The red dots representing Imperial ships had stopped moving. For the first time in their long history of conquest, the Empire faced something they hadn't expected. A primitive world that had seen them coming and spent decades preparing. The next 12 hours would change the galaxy forever. Dr. Anna Miller walked through the underground halls of Project Guardian, her footsteps echoing off the metal balls. Around her, hundreds of scientists and engineers worked at their stations, monitoring the quantum defense systems that protected Earth. None of them had gone home since the Empire's fleet arrived 20 hours ago. The World Council meeting was about to begin, and for the first time in 30 years, she would reveal the true extent of humanity's technological advancement. The huge screen in front of her lit up, showing the faces of 20 world leaders, all connected from their secure bunkers. Dr. Miller, the Council President, began. The Empire has ignored Admiral Walker's warning. Their 12-hour deadline passed 8 hours ago. It's time. Anna nodded, pressing her palm against the DNA scanner. The classified files appeared on everyone's screens. Project Guardian began in 2025, she explained, when we first cracked the Empire's basic communication codes. What we learned changed everything. She pulled up an image of the quantum shield technology. The Empire thinks they're approaching a primitive world that barely understands space travel. They expect nuclear weapons, maybe some basic energy shields. Instead, we have this. The room fell silent as she played a video from last week's tests. A weapon 50 times stronger than the Empire's strongest battleship struck the quantum shield. The energy simply disappeared, absorbed completely by the defensive barrier. But that's not all. Anna continued. The quantum shields were just the beginning. Tom, show them. Tom Harris, her chief engineer, stepped forward. He looked tired but proud as he brought up the next set of images. We didn't just develop defenses, he said. We found a way to turn their own technology against them. Every ship in their fleet uses quantum-based computers, and we can shut them all down with a single command. One of the world leaders leaned forward. You're saying we can disable their entire fleet without destroying it? Yes, Anna replied. The Empire has conquered hundreds of worlds through fear and superior firepower. They've never faced an enemy who could simply turn them off. She brought up a new display showing the Empire's fleet. Thousands of red dots surrounded Earth, but they didn't worry her. Each of those ships was already infected with quantum codes that could disable their systems in seconds. Why haven't we used this yet? Another leader asked. Because, Anna explained, we want to give them one last chance to leave peacefully. The Empire needs to understand that we chose isolation not because we were weak, but because we were strong enough to see the bigger picture. Tom pulled up another screen showing Earth's hidden defenses. Quantum platforms orbited the planet, perfectly cloaked. Weapon systems more advanced than anything the Empire possessed waited silently in asteroid bases. Humanity had spent decades preparing for this moment. The Empire believes they're dealing with a Type 0.8 civilization. Anna continued. They have no idea we've actually reached Type 1.2. We've kept our advancement hidden, letting them think we were an easy target. The Council President stood up. Dr. Miller, you've done remarkable work. But now we need to know, what are our chances if this turns into a fight? Anna smiled slightly. Sir, that's the wrong question. We should be asking what their chances are. The Empire has grown lazy, relying on the same tactics and technology for centuries. We've spent decades studying their every weakness. They don't stand a chance. She pressed another button, showing the quantum defense grid activating around Earth. Beautiful patterns of energy danced across the planet's atmosphere, visible to the Empire's ships. It's time to show them who they're really dealing with, she said. Admiral Walker is ready to demonstrate our capabilities. One small taste of what we can do should be enough to make them reconsider their choices. As if on cue, alarms began blaring. The Empire had launched their first attack on the moon base. Anna watched the incoming energy beams with calm confidence. The Empire was about to learn a very important lesson about judging worlds by their appearances. The real question was, Would they be wise enough to learn from it? Tom Harris adjusted his uniform as he stood before the global broadcast system. As Earth's diplomatic representative, he had practiced this moment thousands of times. But now, with the Empire's fleet surrounding their planet, the stakes were real. "Are you ready, sir?" asked the communications officer. "We're broadcasting to every Imperial ship simultaneously." Tom nodded. The message he was about to deliver wasn't just a warning. It was humanity's declaration of independence to the galaxy. Behind him, Admiral Walker and Dr. Miller watched from their stations, both knowing what was about to happen. The screens lit up, showing Commander Rex's face along with dozens of other Imperial officers. Their metallic features all showed the same expression: impatient amusement at having to listen to what they thought was a primitive species. "Representatives of the Galactic Empire," Tom began, his voice clear and strong. "I speak to you not as a subordinate, but as an equal. For centuries, we have watched your expansion across the stars. We have seen how you treat those you consider beneath you." Commander Rex's amusement turned to confusion. "What nonsense is this? You have no space capability beyond your own moon." Tom allowed himself a small smile. "That's what we wanted you to think. Every probe you sent, every scan you made, showed you exactly what we chose to reveal. The truth is far different." He pressed a button, and the broadcast showed images of Imperial conquest spanning decades. Worlds burning, civilizations falling, all carefully documented by Earth's hidden observation posts. "We chose isolation not out of fear," Tom continued, "but out of mercy. We saw what you were, what you did to others, and we decided to wait, to prepare, to make sure that when you finally found us, we would be ready." The Imperial officers' faces showed various stages of disbelief and anger. One of them, a high-ranking general, leaned forward. "You dare to threaten the Empire? Your primitive weapons cannot harm us." "This is not a threat," Tom replied calmly. "This is your only warning. Leave Earth's solar system now, or face the consequences of your choices." Commander Rex slammed his fist down. "Enough. You will witness the price of such insolence. The Empire does not tolerate." "The Empire," Tom interrupted, "has never faced anything like us. You think you're dealing with a primitive world that just discovered spaceflight. You're wrong. We've had quantum technology for decades. We've been studying your ships, your weapons, your tactics. Everything you know about Earth is wrong." He nodded to Dr. Miller, who activated a small demonstration. Around the Earth, hundreds of quantum defense platforms briefly dropped their cloaking fields, becoming visible to the Empire's sensors. The Imperial officers' faces showed shock as their systems registered technology far beyond what they thought possible. "That's impossible," one of them whispered. "Your civilization couldn't have advanced so quickly." "We advanced precisely because we saw you coming," Tom explained. "Every world you conquered made the same mistake. They revealed themselves too soon. They showed you their true strength before they were ready. We chose a different path." The quantum platforms disappeared again, vanishing from Imperial scanners as if they had never existed. Tom leaned forward, his voice becoming softer but no less firm. "This is your only warning," he repeated. "Leave now, and we will let you go in peace. Stay, and you will learn why we chose to hide our true capabilities for so long." Commander Rex's metallic face had lost its shine. "You expect us to believe that a single world could stand against the Empire's might?" Tom's response was simple. "We expect you to make a choice. Leave in peace or face defeat. You have 1 hour to decide." He cut the transmission, leaving the Imperial fleet to consider their options. Around him, Earth's defense stations hummed with power, ready for whatever choice the Empire would make. Admiral Walker stepped forward. "Well said, Tom. Do you think they'll listen?" Tom looked at the display, showing thousands of Imperial ships still surrounding Earth. "No," he replied honestly. "They're too proud, too used to being the strongest. They'll need a demonstration." Then, Dr. Miller said from her station, Let's give them one they'll never forget. The hour passed quickly. On the moon base, Commander Bill Stone watched his displays as 500 Imperial warships moved into attack position. They had chosen the moon as their first target, exactly as Earth's strategists had predicted. All personnel, battle stations, Bill announced calmly. The base's quantum shields were active but invisible. To the Empire's scanners, the moon base looked like a simple research station with basic protective barriers. Admiral Walker's voice came through the secure channel. "Commander Stone, are you ready?" "Yes, sir," Bill replied. "All systems are green. The Empire's ships are exactly where we want them." The first Imperial blast lit up space, a massive beam of energy racing toward the moon base. The Empire had chosen their most powerful ship for this demonstration, hoping to shatter Earth's confidence with a single strike. Bill smiled as the beam approached. 3, 2, 1. The energy blast hit the quantum shields and simply vanished. There was no explosion, no damage, not even a flicker of the lights. The shield absorbed the attack completely, converting its energy into power for the base's systems. On the main screen, Commander Rex's face appeared. His metallic features showed the first signs of real concern. "Impossible. That blast should have vaporized your entire base." Bill kept his voice casual. "Would you like to try again? Our power reserves could use a top-up." The Empire responded with a full barrage. Hundreds of energy beams struck the moon base from all directions. The quantum shields absorbed each attack, growing stronger with every hit. Inside the base, power levels rose steadily. "Dr. Miller," Bill called through the comm system, "I think it's time for Phase 2. Anna's voice came back clear and confident. "Agreed. Activating quantum reversal field now." The space around the moon base shimmed slightly. The Empire's next volley of attacks didn't just disappear. They reversed direction, heading back toward the ships that fired them. The Imperial fleet scattered in panic as their own weapons turned against them. "What is this technology?" Commander Rex demanded. "Your world cannot possess such capabilities." Bill stood up from his command chair. "You know what your biggest mistake was? Thinking that isolation meant weakness. Earth didn't hide because we were afraid. We hid because we saw what you were, and we decided to be ready." He gestured to his crew, and they activated the base's full defensive array. Quantum cannons emerged from hidden bunkers across the lunar surface. Each one contained more firepower than an entire Imperial battle fleet. "This is just one base," Bill continued. "One small outpost on Earth's moon. Would you like to see what our main defense grid can do?" The Imperial ships began to pull back, their confident attack formation dissolving into chaos. Their sensors were finally showing them the truth. Layers upon layers of defensive systems that had been invisible moments before. Admiral Walker's voice came through again. "Commander Stone, give them a small demonstration. Target their flagship's engines only." "Yes, sir," Bill replied. He nodded to his weapons officer. "Single quantum pulse, minimum power. Let's show them what primitive looks like." A brief flash of blue light pulsed from one of the smaller lunar cannons. It struck the Imperial flagship with surgical precision. The massive ship's engines died instantly, leaving it drifting in space. Commander Rex's voice had lost all its arrogance. What did you do to our systems?" "We turned them off," Bill explained simply. "Your quantum computers are impressive, but we've had decades to study them, to understand their weaknesses, to learn how to control them." He looked at the tactical display showing the Imperial fleet in disarray. Some ships were retreating, others were trying to restore power to their weapons, and the flagship drifted helplessly. "This was just a taste," Bill said. "A small demonstration of what Earth can do. The choice is still yours. Leave in peace or learn exactly why we waited so long to reveal ourselves." As alerts flashed across his screen showing more Imperial ships approaching, Bill knew the real battle was about to begin. The Empire wasn't used to being challenged. They wouldn't retreat after one defeat. But that was exactly what Earth had been counting on. Commander Rex paced on the bridge of his powerless flagship. Around him, his crew worked frantically to restart their engines, but nothing they tried worked. The humans had shut down their systems with a single pulse of energy, something that should have been impossible. "Get me Earth Command," he shouted. "I demand answers." The communication screen flickered to life, showing Dr. Anna Miller instead of Admiral Walker. She sat calmly at her station, surrounded by technology that Rex's sensors still couldn't properly scan. Demanding answers, she asked with a slight smile. "I thought you were here to teach us primitive humans about proper civilization." Rex slammed his metallic fist on the console. "What did you do to my ship? Our best engineers can't even understand how you disabled our systems." "Would you like me to explain?" Anna asked. "It might help you understand exactly what you're dealing with." She pressed a button, and a holographic display appeared on both their screens. "Your ships run on quantum computers," she began. "Very advanced ones, but we've been studying them for decades. Every time you conquered a world, we watched. We learned. We found the flaws in your technology." She brought up another display, showing thousands of hidden defense platforms around Earth. Each one powered up, becoming visible to the Imperial ships. The Empire's scanners screamed with warnings as they detected weapon systems far more advanced than their own. "Impossible," Rex whispered. "Your civilization is barely a century into space travel. You can't have this technology." "That's what we wanted everyone to think," Anna replied. "Every probe you sent, every scan you made, showed you exactly what we wanted you to see. A young, primitive civilization, just reaching for the stars." She stood up, walking closer to the camera. "But the truth, we reverse-engineered quantum technology 30 years ago. We built defenses that could stop your strongest weapons. We created systems that could turn your own ships against you." Around Rex's disabled flagship, more Imperial ships were losing power. One by one, Earth's defense platforms were sending out pulses of energy that shut down their quantum systems. "Your biggest mistake," Anna continued, "was thinking that isolation meant weakness. Earth didn't hide because we were afraid. We hid because we saw what the Empire was, a bully that preys on developing worlds. So we waited. We prepared. We made sure that when you finally found us, you'd face something you'd never seen before." Rex watched in horror as another display screen showed his fleet's status. Half of his ships were now powerless, drifting in space. The other half were retreating in panic, their weapons useless against Earth's quantum shields. "How?" he demanded. "How did you advance so quickly without us knowing?" "Because we chose to," Anna explained simply. "While you were busy conquering worlds that revealed their technology too soon, we stayed hidden. We learned from their mistakes. Every world you conquered made us stronger, taught us more about how to defeat you." She brought up one final display, showing the full extent of Earth's defense network. Quantum platforms stretched from Mercury to Jupiter, hidden bases on every planet, and Major Moon contained weapons that could disable entire fleets. "This is your last chance, Commander," Anna said firmly. "You've seen a fraction of what we can do. The next demonstration won't be so gentle. Leave our solar system, or we'll be forced to show you exactly why we kept our true power hidden for so long." Rex looked at his tactical display. His mighty invasion fleet was in chaos. Ships that had conquered hundreds of worlds now floated helpless in space, their advanced technology turned useless by Earth's defenses. For the first time in his long military career, Commander Rex felt real fear. The Empire had made a terrible mistake, and now they were paying the price. The only question was, would his pride let him retreat, or would Earth have to teach the Empire an even harsher lesson? Admiral James Walker stood in Earth's main defense command center, watching as the Empire's remaining ships regrouped. Half their fleet drifted powerless in space, while the other half formed a defensive circle around their disabled ships. Their proud invasion force had been reduced to a cautious, frightened group in less than a day. "Sir, Lieutenant Ross called out, "Commander Rex is requesting a full conference. He wants to speak with all of Earth's leaders." Walker nodded. "Put him through to the World Council chamber. Let's show him exactly who he's dealing with." The massive screen lit up, showing not just Rex, but 12 other Imperial commanders as well. Their metallic faces showed a mix of anger, fear, and finally, respect. "You have our attention," Rex said, his voice much quieter than before. "No one has ever managed to disable Imperial ships like this. No one has ever turned our own technology against us." Walker stepped forward. "That's because no one else was patient enough to wait and watch. For 50 years, we studied your empire. We saw how you conquered worlds that revealed their technology too soon. So we chose a different path." He pressed a button, and new holographic displays appeared. They showed recordings of Imperial conquests stretching back decades, worlds that fought back too soon, civilizations that revealed their advances before they were ready. "Every world you conquered taught us something," Walker continued. "Every victory you celebrated showed us another weakness in your tactics. Your empire grew lazy, Commander. You've used the same strategies, the same technology for centuries." Rex's face darkened. "And now you think you can stand against the entire empire. What you see here is just one fleet. We have thousands more." Walker smiled. "Do you really think these are our only defenses? What you've seen today is just the outer layer of Earth's protection. The simple systems we were willing to reveal." He nodded to Dr. Miller, who activated another display. Deep space sensors showed hundreds more Imperial ships approaching, the reinforcements Rex had called for. "Perfect timing," Walker said calmly. "Let me show you something we haven't revealed yet." At his command, quantum fields activated throughout the solar system. Every Imperial ship, including the approaching reinforcements, suddenly found themselves unable to enter faster than light speed. They were trapped in normal space, their most advanced systems completely under Earth's control. "Impossible," one of the other commanders whispered. "You can't control quantum space like that. The technology doesn't exist." "In the Empire, maybe," Walker replied. "But we chose a different path. While you conquered through force, we advanced through understanding. Your quantum technology is impressive, but we've moved far beyond it." He brought up one final display, showing the full extent of Earth's defensive network. Quantum platforms that could disable entire fleets, weapons that could target ships light years away, technology that the Empire had thought impossible. "So here's your choice, Commander," Walker said firmly. "You can leave our solar system now, never to return. We'll even restart your ship's systems so you can go. Or what?" Rex demanded. "Or we'll be forced to demonstrate our more advanced weapons. The ones we hoped we'd never have to use. The ones that make today's demonstration look like a child's game." The Imperial commanders spoke quietly among themselves. For the first time in their history, they faced a civilization that hadn't just matched their technology, it had surpassed it completely. "How?" Rex finally asked. "How did you advance so far without us knowing?" "Because we chose peace until you forced war," Walker explained. "We had the technology to join your empire decades ago. We could have conquered other worlds like you do. Instead, we chose to wait, to prepare, to make sure that when we finally revealed ourselves, no one could threaten Earth again." The command center fell silent as the Imperial leaders considered their options. Walker watched them calmly, knowing that their choice here would change the galaxy forever. The Empire had finally met a force they couldn't conquer, a world that had seen them coming and spent decades preparing for this exact moment. 3 months after the Empire's retreat, Tom Harris stood aboard Earth's first official diplomatic vessel, the Peace. The ship's quantum drives hummed quietly as they approached the neutral meeting point where representatives from a dozen alien civilizations waited. "Ready, sir?" Captain Mary Lewis asked from her command chair. Unlike Imperial ships, Earth vessels didn't need large crews. Their advanced AI systems could handle most tasks, leaving humans to focus on important decisions. "As ready as I'll ever be," Tom replied, adjusting his formal uniform. "How many civilizations accepted our invitation?" 15, Mary answered, checking her display. "All of them have been resisting the Empire for years. They're very interested in meeting the humans who sent an entire Imperial fleet running." The story had spread quickly through the galaxy. The Empire's defeat at Earth had shattered their image of invincibility. Worlds that had been afraid to resist now looked to Earth with hope. The main screen lit up as they approached the meeting point, a space station built in neutral territory. Ships of various designs orbited it, each representing a civilization that had chosen to attend this historic gathering. "They're hailing us," Mary reported. "All channels." Tom nodded. "Put them through." The screen split into multiple sections, showing representatives from each civilization. Some looked almost human, others were completely alien, but all shared the same look of cautious hope. "Welcome, people of Earth," the station's coordinator spoke first. "Your victory over the Empire has given hope to many worlds. We are eager to learn how you achieved such advancement in secret." Tom smiled. "That's why we're here. Not to show off our power, but to share our knowledge. Earth chose isolation until now because we needed time to prepare. But that time is over." He gestured, and Dr. Miller's image appeared on a separate screen. She stood in her lab back on Earth, surrounded by displays showing quantum technology far beyond what the Empire possessed. "We're offering to share our defensive technology with any world that wants to remain free from Imperial control," Tom announced. "Not weapons. We don't want to spread more ways to destroy. But shields, protective systems, ways to defend against aggression without causing harm." The alien representatives murmured among themselves. One of them, a tall being with crystalline features, spoke up. "The Empire claims they bring civilization to primitive worlds. But you chose a different path." "We did," Tom agreed. "Earth could have conquered other worlds like the Empire does. Instead, we waited, watched, and prepared, not just to defend ourselves, but to help others do the same." He brought up displays showing Earth's defensive technology, the quantum shields that could stop any attack, the systems that could disable hostile ships without destroying them, ways to protect worlds without needing to harm others. "This is just the beginning," Tom continued. "Earth is ready to join the galactic community, not as conquerors like the Empire, but as defenders, as friends." The station's coordinator spoke again. "And what of the Empire? They will not accept this challenge to their power." "They already have." Mary cut in, bringing up new tactical displays. "Our deep space sensors show Imperial fleets retreating from dozens of worlds. They know their usual tactics won't work anymore. Not with Earth's technology protecting these planets." Tom looked at each alien representative in turn. "The Empire's time of easy conquest is over. Together, we can build something better. A community of worlds that help each other grow, not an empire that rules through fear." The response was immediate. One by one, the alien representatives voiced their support. Ships that had come merely to observe now moved closer, their crews eager to learn about Earth's defensive technology. As Tom prepared to board the station for the formal meetings, he thought about how far humanity had come. From a supposedly primitive world to a beacon of hope for the galaxy, they had proved that patience and preparation were stronger than aggression and fear. Earth had changed the galaxy not through conquest, but by showing there was a better way. The Empire's golden age of expansion was over. A new dawn had begun.